Hey everybody, it's Kathy with Messy Cat Creations, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the video for today. It is the second part, the finale to the mixed media piece that I showed in another video a little while ago. And the piece is finished, and I wanted to do a video to show you what all it took to finish the piece, and I will explain during the video what all processes I was doing and the different media I used to finish it. And I hope you enjoy. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe, and be sure to click the notification button so that you will be notified when I upload new videos. So thanks for your time. Hope you have a great day. The first thing I'm using is a distress crayon, and I'm just going around putting in a little bit of shadow work, darkening some areas, and I will activate this later with paint. But right now I'm just putting in new areas of where I want it to be a little darker. And I'm using a couple of different colors. One was a dark magenta, and I think then there was a lighter. And now this is Caron Dash, the watercolor crayons that I used earlier in the previous video. So that's what I'm using here. I'm working on several of the different areas just with different colors to add depth once I activate them. I'm using pink acrylic paint here. I think it's an apple barrel or something equivalent, that kind of paint, to add little spots of color here and there, and to partially activate some of the dark areas I had just put in with the distress crayons and watercolor crayons. I decided I didn't really like some of the area behind the flower crown, so I will be darkening that throughout parts of the video. And again, I think I've changed color, but it's still acrylic that I'm using. Now I'm activating some of those darker areas that of the distress crayon and the watercolor, Caron Dash watercolor. Now I'm working on the face with, I think, some watercolor, and now I'm getting out a different color of the apple barrel paints, and I'm switching back between the different colors. And some of what I did to activate the distress crayons and the watercolor was just add water, but part of the areas I used acrylic to activate. So here I'm trying to darken the areas that I decided I didn't like, but I didn't want them that dark, so I took a little bit out. And you'll see that happen a lot in that I'll put something down originally and I'll like it, and then once the imagery develops, I may completely cover over something that was important to me at the beginning of the piece, because with these pieces I don't know where they're going when I start them. Sometimes I don't know where they're going until almost all the way to the end of the piece. So I will bring some things from the foreground forward with color and shadow, and other times I will completely cover them over because I no longer want them. Here I'm using the metallic watercolors that I used in the last video. I'm pretty sure they're Gansai Tambi metallic watercolors, and I'm just using those to add more details and into the jewelry that's on the headpiece. And then now I'm adding golden rays coming out from the person's head. You'll see this a lot in my work. I take some imagery that is traditionally religious iconography and I add it to my pieces. My pieces are not religious, quite the opposite. I at least organized religion. They're not supposed to be in any way a nod to organized religion. They're actually wanting to take things that were traditionally in organized religious art, but take it and use it in a different way. So a lot of my pieces, especially my mixed media pieces, are dealing with religious trauma or fallout from religious trauma, but in art history, much of the European art that was created was done because of the Catholic Church, because they were one of the few organizations that would, give patronage to artists and pay for art to be created. So a lot of the development throughout European history in art, it was because of the church. So a lot of the imagery is religious in nature. And I like to use things like halos and these rays of light coming off the head that always signaled purity or somehow a holy nature. I like to use that in my imagery as kind of a juxtaposition of whatever else I'm doing in the piece. So that's why you'll see a lot of the same kind of imagery in many of my pieces. So while I was discussing the imagery, several things happened in the background, and I wanted to tell you I used some Pitt Pens to darken some areas to go around the lightning strike areas. I also tried using a white gel pen, but it was not showing off enough, so I got out some black actual ink in a jar and some white ink, and so now I'm using the white ink and the black ink just with a brush to highlight certain areas and to make outlines with the black, also to shadow certain areas. Now I've got my Pitt Pens out again, and I'm trying to highlight give shadow to these rays coming off of the head and the headdress. And then I'm also just darkening some areas to try to make certain of the areas pop out from the background. A lot of the last minute details are just pens, and sometimes I will bring in colored pencils. I don't think I did in this piece, but a lot of times some of the last things I do will be colored pencils and pens and either white gel pens or actual white ink. Now I've gotten the metallic out again, and I'm just giving another layer to some of the already existing metallics, because sometimes metallics are really thin and you need 2 layers. So here I've gotten out some Tombow markers, one in a pale green, and then the rest of the Tombow markers will be in shades of gray. And now I'm just giving more shadow, trying to give more definition to different areas throughout the piece, and that's what I use the gray Tombow markers for. Just trying to give more definition and adding shadows here and there to different things I want to highlight. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the process. See you next time. Bye.